Welcome to the deep dive. We sift through stacks of research, articles, all that good stuff, and pull out the really surprising insights just for you. Today, we're diving into money, something that, well, it affects all of us. But we're not just asking, are you good or bad with it?
Yeah.
We're going deeper. How often do you really think about your relationship with money? Because I think, well, our relationship with money is probably one of the most underestimated relationships we have.
Oh, absolutely. It's so true. And what's really wild is even though it's so central, people actively avoid talking about it. There's data, right? Something like 62% of Americans just don't want to discuss money. And you have to ask why. If you step back, maybe it's this societal programming we've absorbed over years.
Societal programming, how so?
Well, think about that phrase, money is the root of all evil. We hear it all the time, but the original quote, it's the love of money is the root of all evil. That's quite different, isn't it?
Completely different. Wow.
Yeah. And that subtle twist, plus other stories that maybe discourage people from getting financially savvy. Well, maybe it serves a purpose. Could be it keeps people less independent financially, makes them, easier to control, perhaps. Because financial knowledge, that's power. It's real knowledge transfer.
Okay. That reframes things quite a bit. So if knowing about money is power, but so many people shy away, then our mission here in this deep dive is really to challenge some of that conventional thinking about wealth, uncover some surprising truths. We want to get to the heart of what actually builds financial freedom. And it sounds like we need to start by unpacking this idea of ownership.
Yes, ownership. Let's look at the numbers because they're pretty compelling. Around 70% of millionaires, they're self-made. That right there kind of blows up the idea that it's all inherited wealth.
Right.
And even more telling, 68% of millionaires have some kind of ownership. They either, bought a business or they have equity in one or they build one themselves.
So ownership is the common thread.
It really is. It points to this central idea. If you don't have ownership, you're probably never going to be truly free financially. It's about getting skin in the game. Now, that doesn't automatically mean you have to become an entrepreneur. Let's be clear. That path is really hard.
Yeah, I bet.
Oh, it sucks many days. I mean, there are Fridays where you're staring at payroll thinking, how am I going to make this? That's a deep, terrible feeling. But the thing is, money. It acts like a buffer. It pushes back against other people trying to sort of design your life for you. And look, if you are poor, you really have no power in those situations. So if ownership is the game we need to play, then learning the language of money, that's step one. It's paramount.
If you are poor, you have no power. That's stark. So
Okay.
ownership is crucial. But what does this mean for where we are right now in America? Especially thinking about, younger generations, lots of financial anxiety out there. What hurdles are they really up against?
Yeah, it's a genuine challenge. And I totally get why younger people feel, pretty upset right now. You've got wage stagnation. Gen Z, for instance, they're actually making less adjusted for inflation than their parents did at the same age.
Less. Wow.
Yeah. And then university, 3-4 times more expensive. Housing costs through the roof. Plus, significant inflation eating away at every dollar. And those job reports, they might show openings, but dig deeper. A lot are public sector jobs. The private sector job market is genuinely tough.
Okay, so that sounds pretty bleak.
Yeah.
But you mentioned a silver lining, an unexpected alliance.
Exactly. Despite all those headwinds, there's this potentially massive, you could call it an alliance, something unexpected form.
An alliance between who? Baby boomers and young people. That seems unlikely. Given the sort of quiet war people talk about between those generations, how would that even work?
Precisely. That's the surprising part. It hinges on this great wealth transfer. Baby boomers, they're the wealthiest generation in U.S. history. Collectively, something like $68 trillion.
$68 trillion.
Okay. But here's the key. The hidden opportunity. That wealth isn't all just sitting in stocks or houses, a huge chunk of it. It's tied up in small businesses. Boomers own about 60% of all small businesses in the U.S.
60%.
Yeah.
So what happens to those businesses?
That's the multi-trillion-dollar question. And it's this massive opportunity for younger people to step in, to take over these boomer businesses. If they don't, we risk ending up like Japan, where a lack of business succession led to economic stagnation. So this isn't just about money. It's a chance to bridge that generational gap, that quiet war. It's a potential win-win. Experienced owners get to exit, maybe retire comfortably, and younger folks get to take over established, often profitable businesses.
That's a really interesting way to look at the current economy, a massive opportunity hidden in a challenge. But, when people do think about making money or wealth, it feels like many get distracted, chasing shiny objects. What are the biggest mistakes you see? What should people focus on instead?
Oh, the shiny object syndrome is real. Absolutely. People get told, day trade stocks, get into NFTs, crypto monkeys, or price speculation on crypto, taking margin calls.
Margin calls. And that's basically your broker saying you need more cash for a losing bet, right?
Yeah.
Or they sell your stuff.
Exactly. And the hard truth is these get-rich-quick schemes, they almost never work.
Yeah.
It's simple, really. If you think you found a lose-win scenario and you're going to be the winner, chances are you're the one left holding the bag. Real, sustainable wealth opportunities, they come from a win-win. Always. It's about solving a real problem, a pain point, adding actual value to someone else's life, and valuing your own skills properly in that exchange.
Okay, so value creation, not speculation. Makes sense.
And then there's the deeper stuff, right? The psychology. The fear around money, fear of not making enough, fear of losing it, fear of tying your self-worth to your bank balance. It's pervasive. We need to kind of reframe it. Money's just a tool. That's it. Think about building a house. You could use tiny nails and a little hammer, or you could use a powerful screw gun. Money's the screw gun. It just makes building easier and faster.
I like that. Money is the power tool for building your life. Okay, so this deep dive, it's really custom tailored for you, the listener, wherever you are on this journey. Let's get practical now. Actionable strategies. What's the fundamental process? How do you make money consistently?
Right. Most people get it backwards. They jump straight to investing. But there's actually a sequence, and it's maybe a bit counterintuitive. It's a 4-step process, really. First, learn. You have to just obsess. Cram as much useful information into your brain as you possibly can.
Okay, learn first. Got it.
Second, increase your skill stack. And I mean high-value skills, things that make a real impact where you work. Like, can you make the company more money? Can you lead people effectively? Can you build systems that actually work? Academic degrees are fine, they have value, but they often don't directly translate to these kinds of skills. And what's really interesting, kind of liberating actually, is big places like Google, they don't even require degrees for engineering roles anymore. That breaks down huge barriers, those 6-figure barriers.
Something about what you can do, not just what degree you have.
Exactly. Don't tell me what you learned, show me what you can do. Even better, show me what you did. Then step 3 is increase your income. Find ways to earn more from what you're already doing, using those skills. And only then, once you've got those first 3 active steps humming along, then you move to step 4, investing. Making your money work for you. See? It flips the usual script.
Learn, skill up, earn more, then invest. Okay, that's a clear framework, but let's tailor it even more. What about someone just starting out, like a recent grad? They're maybe feeling a bit lost. What's your unfiltered advice for them?
Okay, recent grads, listen up. Forget the fast cash stuff you see online, like Airbnb arbitrage. Terrible idea, usually. Someone should have told me that earlier. Here's the reality check. You're probably going to have to work harder than you think, for longer than you think, doing stuff you really don't like, maybe with people you don't particularly like either, until you finally earn the right to do something genuinely interesting.
That sounds harsh, but honest.
It is. Look, your first job probably won't kill you because it's too challenging. It'll kill you slowly with the sheer monotony, doing low-level tasks for, pennies on the dollar.
So here's a thought. Consider working for free. Seriously. For maybe 3-6 months, find a place, offer to do something valuable like analyze inventory for a small beverage company. Show them what you can do. Build experience. Prove your worth. Work for free. Okay, that's bold advice. Tough pill to swallow, maybe, but I see the logic. Now, what about people a bit further on, say 30, 35 years old? They feel stuck, hit a plateau. What's the strategy there?
Right. The 30-something slump. Okay, here's the good news. The really powerful news. You do not need money to make money. Let me repeat that. You don't need money to make money.
Okay, I'm listening. How?
First, figure out what skills you actually have that someone else would pay for. Be honest with yourself. What can you do? Then, think about this. Expertise to equity. Instead of just looking for another job or trying to launch a risky startup from scratch, partner with an existing business, Be the solution to their problem.
So find a business with a pain point you can solve.
Exactly. And then negotiate, not just for salary, but for equity or upside, as they call it. Help them grow revenue, cut costs, make the owner's life easier. Like you go to a small local shop and say, hey, let me handle your marketing. I'll take 10% of any new revenue I generate. Yeah. What owner says no to that? It's basically zero risk for them.
Interesting. So you leverage your skill for a piece of the action.
Precisely. This is what consultants do all the time. It's what private equity firms do. It's how huge institutions operate. And think about it. 90% of startups fail within 10 years. The average founder makes like $46K a year after 3 years of making nothing. This expertise to equity approach, much more stable, uses what you already have. No need for massive upfront cash.
That's a fantastic framework. Leveraging expertise for equity, it sidesteps needing capital. But these partnerships, these alliances, they sound great, but also potentially tricky, right? What do we need to know about making them work or avoiding disaster?
Oh, partnerships. Yeah. You should actually be pretty cautious about them, maybe even a little scared. Think about it. 50% of marriages end in divorce, right? Well, guess what? Pretty much 100% of business partnerships end eventually. Businesses don't last forever.
100%. Oof.
Yeah. So while building wealth means taking some risk, the real game is risk mitigation. When you're making a deal, aim to make it so good for the other side that they'd feel, frankly, dumb saying no. And if you're a founder, don't hoard that last 5 or 10% of equity. Share it. Align incentives. It helps everyone grow the pie bigger.
Okay, so be generous with equity to motivate partners. But how do you structure that? How do you negotiate it smartly, especially the equity part, to protect yourself?
Good question. Negotiation, especially equity. I learned this the hard way. I never just give away a percentage of my company up front anymore. Nope. Instead, you use something called earn-in, or milestone-based equity.
Earn-in. Milestone-based? How does that work?
It means the equity is tied to something specific. It could be tied to duration, like cliff-based vesting. Maybe you get 0 equity for the first year, that's the cliff, and then it starts vesting, maybe gradually over the next few years, or maybe all at once after year 3. Or it can be tied to execution, hitting specific targets, like you get X% when we hit $1 million in revenue, another Y% at $5 million, and so on.
So they have to earn it through time or results.
Exactly. They have skin in the game, but they have to perform or stick around. You know, it's funny. Americans, British people, were often not great negotiators compared to other cultures. My mom, we called her the pit. She taught me something really powerful. It stuck with me. She said, the wealthy negotiate everything. The poor take the price they're given. The rich set the price. It's a fundamental mindset shift.
The wealthy negotiate everything. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big one. It really highlights how much of this is internal, isn't it? The mindset. Let's talk about that owner's mindset. Self-doubt, limiting beliefs. That they're so common.
Yeah.
How do you push past that stuff?
You know, honestly, I probably would have stayed an employee forever if things hadn't pushed me. And let me just say, you absolutely can make a ton of money as an employee or as a founder. The key is getting that bit of skin in the game, that upside we talked about. But for me, even though I had skills, I had some cash, I stayed stuck in a corporate job for 12 years. Why? Fear. Simple as that.
12 years out of fear.
Yeah. It took some external nudges. Like my CEO basically telling me, go get your own ships, time to leave the nest. It even took some failed partnerships, frankly, before I finally went out totally on my own. It shows you a lot of bad stuff can happen when you just don't believe in yourself enough to take the leap. Sometimes the universe just keeps nudging. And if you don't listen, eventually it might just, kick you in the face to get your attention.
That image of the universe kicking you in the face is memorable.
Yeah.
What about those really deep-seated beliefs like, I'm just bad at math or I don't understand money? How do you even start to tackle those?
Oh, yeah. So many people carry a story like that. I do too. High school teacher looked right at me, basically said, Helen Keller had a better shot at winning an archery contest than I did at succeeding in finance.
Oh, seriously?
Seriously. And that stuff sticks, that feeling of being told you can't. But here's the secret they don't tell you. Finance is often made to look scary and complicated. Why? So the people in the industry can charge a lot for their advice, the actual math of making money. It's mostly adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, basic stuff. You are way more capable than you think you are. Just give the money stuff a little attention. Get curious about it.
Curiosity again? Okay,
Yeah.
So how do you cultivate that? Especially when you look at people who are wealthy. Is it about finding a mentor?
Yes, curiosity is key. When you see someone successful, try to be studious about it, not envious, not condescending. Cash loves curiosity. Instead of thinking, oh, that guy's so dumb, how do you make money? Try thinking, wow, if he can do it, maybe I can too. What's he doing? And that leads perfectly into mentoring, but not in the way most people think. Here's the secret mentor strategy. First rule, never ask someone directly, will you be my mentor?
Don't ask. Why
Yeah,
not?
it puts them on the spot. It sounds like this huge, time-consuming responsibility. Most busy, successful people will just politely decline or ignore it instead. Just interact simply. Ask curious questions. Keep them short and specific. Then, and this is crucial, give them a positive feedback loop. If they give you advice, act on it. Then report back briefly. Hey, that piece of advice you gave me, super useful. I tried it this way. Here's what happened. Thank you.
So you value their time and actually use the advice.
Exactly. People love to see their advice make a difference. Also, don't try to jump straight to the billionaire CEO. Find people who are just 1 or 2 steps ahead of where you want to be. More accessible, more relevant usually, and really important. Never feel like you outgrow your mentors. Don't leave them behind. Mentorship is layered. You can learn from many people at different stages. Just aim to be the best mentee possible. Take action, report back. And finally, remember, you can learn just as much from your haters sometimes, especially if their criticism, even if it stings, has a little kernel of truth in it.
The secret mentor strategy.
Yeah.
That's brilliant, actionable, and less intimidating. Okay, let's pivot slightly. We talked about shiny objects. You're saying a lot of the real wealth isn't in those flashy internet things or with celebrities. It's ordinary. Tell me more about that.
That's exactly right. Look, most of the people who seem super shiny online, often they aren't actually making that much money, relatively speaking. The truly wealthy people they might own a landscaping company or a sprinkler installation business.
Right.
I remember interning years ago, and there was a story about a woman whose, brother's friend's mom was worth maybe $50 million. From what? An equipment rental company?
Tractors and stuff.
Yeah, buying equipment, renting it out. Apparently she recouped the cost in 90 days on average. It just proves you can make serious money doing almost anything, especially in these boring sectors. Why? Less competition? Often. I'm kind of obsessed with what I call Main Street businesses.
Main Street businesses.
Like your local roofer or the company that produces this podcast or maybe even a good old-fashioned cobbler. These aren't usually venture-backed startups. They're solid, profitable businesses, often been around for decades. I sort of categorize them. There are gateway drug businesses, simple, low-employee things, good for beginners, like maybe vending machines and people-light businesses, but bigger, few employees, like laundromats. And then the trades or boring businesses, window cleaning, painting, plumbing, electrical. I read somewhere that the richest woman in the world, back in 2022 anyway, started a huge roofing company.
A roofing company. Okay, that really drives the point home. Unsexy, but incredibly valuable. And you mentioned earlier, private equity firms are noticing these businesses too.
Yes, this is huge. And kind of scary if you think about it. Private equity. Back in 2000, they owned maybe 4% of U.S. companies. Now it's closer to 20%. What are they buying up like crazy? These profitable trades, these service businesses. They see the stable cash flow, the overlooked value. So I see it as, well, it's kind of our chance as individuals to maybe take some of those back, to participate directly, keep that wealth more distributed, less centralized.
Okay, so Main Street is where the hidden gems are. If someone wants to get into one of these, what skills are truly essential? Do you need to be an expert roofer to buy a roofing company?
Great question. No, not necessarily an expert roofer on day one. You need 3 core things, I think. First, deal making. Learn the language of money first. Before you jump in, don't just throw cash at something if you don't understand the deal structure, the financials.
Learn deal making. What else?
Second, grit and endurance. This isn't strategy, it's effort. It's constitution. How hard are you willing to work? What sacrifices will you make? For how long? You know Angela Duckworth's work on grit. It's probably the single best predictor of success. It boils down to how much low-level pain can you tolerate consistently over a long time?
Grit. Okay, and the third skill?
Third, and this is maybe the biggest mindset shift, ask who, not how. Most people get stuck on how to do something. How do I run a roofing company? The pros, they ask, who already knows how to do this? Who has the 10,000 hours of experience I can learn from or partner with? The truly wealthy often just buy the solution. They find the expert who. It gives you a much higher chance of winning. You don't need to know everything about roofing yourself if you know who does.
Ask who, not how.
Yeah.
That's powerful. Buy the solution. So putting it all together, how does someone even find these deals, these Main Street businesses, and how do you manage the risk? Assuming that first time.
Well, first, you got to know thyself, right? Get clear on what you actually want. What income level? Where do you want to live? Do you need something creative, or are you happy with something purely operational? Create your deal box. Define what you're looking for. It kind of helps the universe, bring you the right opportunities because you're clear. And for risk, especially early on, don't bite off more than you can chew. Don't do a deal so big that if it goes wrong, it completely wipes you out. Maybe partner up, bring in a friend or family member on that first deal, diversify the risk a bit.
Okay, define your deal box. Don't go too big. Maybe partner up. How about actually finding the deals?
Right. Well, if you develop those high-value skills we talked about, often deals will start to come to you. People seek out solutions. If not, then it's about off-market deal searching. That sounds fancy, but it can be as simple as, cold calling local businesses. That's what PE firms do. And you need to activate your, what's it called? Your reticular activating system.
Your RAS, the thing where you buy a red car and suddenly see red cars everywhere.
Exactly that. Once you start looking for deals, for opportunities in boring businesses, you'll start seeing them everywhere. Get curious. Talk to small business owners when you're out and about. Ask them questions. How long you been doing this? How's business? Are your kids going to take over? I stumbled on this one deal once. 50,000 antique books. Came from a woman going through a divorce. Just found it by being curious, asking questions. Opportunities are literally everywhere.
50,000 antique books. Wow. Just by asking. But what about that common idea that, good, profitable businesses just don't sell? If it's making money, why would anyone sell it?
Yeah, that's a huge myth. A total misconception. You got to challenge that assumption. Every business has some value. Even if it's just the leaves or the equipment, the employee list, the website, the brand name, some IP, there's always something. And owners sell for tons of reasons besides it's not profitable. Maybe they're just tired, ready to retire, no kids who want it, health issues, divorce, like the book lady. Honestly, most business owners would probably sell their business tomorrow for the right price and the right terms. You just have to ask. And that leads to a final point, sort of the golden rule of business. It's not treat others how you want to be treated.
It's not. What is it then?
It's treat others how they want to be treated, unless that breaks how you want to be treated. Meaning, understand their motivations, their values, what they care about. Don't just assume they want the same things you do. Figure out what the right price and terms means to them.
Treat them how they want to be treated.
Yeah.
Understand their why. Okay. This has been, wow, an incredibly rich deep dive. We've covered our relationship with money, the power of ownership, finding hidden opportunities. As we start to wrap up, what are some of the most critical, concise takeaways you'd want our listener to walk away with?
Okay, let's try some rapid-fire takeaways. Best financial advice I've ever heard. Realizing that using other people's money, OPM, is actually feasible for regular folks. Look at how private equity does it. You can learn a lot.
Okay, OPM is possible. How about raising investment?
Use a tear sheet or a one sheet. Keep it simple, one page. Focus on the 3 Ps: people, your team, process, how you operate, and performance, your track record, your numbers. It's all about execution and showing you have a history of winning.
3 Ps. Got it. Worst financial advice.
That money is scarce and hard to get. That's just not true, ultimately.
Best investment you've made for, say, $500, $2,000.
Probably something for energy, like my sauna and cold plunge setup. Health and wealth are super, super tied together. You need energy to build anything.
Health and wealth. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Biggest waste of money.
Not things I bought. It was usually people I chose. Bad partnerships. That's cost me way more than any dumb purchase.
People, not things. Rules for partnerships, then.
Okay, 3 quick rules. 1, implement a 1-year rule. Work together for a year before committing long-term, like equity. 2, don't partner with someone exactly like you. You need creative friction, different strengths. 3, over-optimize on desire. Make absolutely sure everyone is truly all in, equally committed.
1-year rule, different strengths, desire. Okay.
Okay.
You can make one law for the whole world.
Wow. Limit the centralization of tax power and probably prohibit nationalization of industries. I really believe in the power of the individual builder.
The builder.
Yeah. And just a final thought for all the builders listening, the business owners, the creators, the entrepreneurs. Only about 3% of Americans own a business. I just hope you know how incredibly important you are. You are so necessary. Honestly, without you, the world literally stops. There's so much dignity in what you do every day.
That's a powerful closing thought. So for everyone listening, given that cash, love, curiosity, and every business has some value, think about this. What unnoticed treasure troves might be hiding in plain sight right there in your community, just waiting for you to ask a few curious questions?